Hello there. Um, I'm doing this on the fly, so I'm just toying around. If anyone saw a week or two ago, I did a live interview with Carrie Batts, who is the programmer of Pro Strategy Football, and I had an idea, and I didn't know if anybody would be interested in doing it, so I'm just going to do something kind of on the fly right now. And what I'm going to do is I want permission to use the beta of 2021 to do this perhaps over the summer before, if I can get it from Kerry Batts. I'm not touching his software um, and without permission. Um, but I'm using Pro Strategy Football 2020 and I'm going to sim live right now a one of the mods. The audio is a mod, and the teams are the Super Bowl era 1966 through 2017. And these teams are homemade by fans, and they are the what either the best or what fans consider or want to play to utilize for a given franchise throughout history. Kansas City Chiefs fans, the '69 Chiefs were what were built for this, and I mean, in the future, you can substitute this past season's Chiefs in this file if you want. But we're going to stick with the '66 Chiefs and Chiefs. A lot of diehard Chiefs fans may argue that the '69 team, the team that won the Super Bowl, they might argue that was better than the Mahomes-led team from this past season. I'm just leaving it alone. But we're going to go into single season, and I do have it set up. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sim the regular season through the playoffs, and we will watch the Super Bowl. And let's take a look at the teams that come with it. We have the '86 Giants, who won the Super Bowl, '91 Redskins, '92 Cowboys, 2017 Eagles, all won their respective Super Bowls. '69 Vikings. Now, some people may argue, say the '98, even Fran Tarkenton area, and excuse me, legitimate arguments, but uh, I went with some Vikings fans would still argue '69, and they actually won the NFL title before the merger. So they were actually the only NFL champion Vikings. '85 Bears, one of the teams that absolutely won it all. '91 Lions. Yeah, you could argue with the Packers, but we went with Brett Favre's Packers. And you could argue with the Falcons. Some people would think maybe the 2016 team. Well, I went with the better record. Uh, the Bucks when they won, Saints when they won, Panthers the best of the two teams that made the Super Bowl. And people could argue between 49er teams, but this one had one of their second best record, and they had both Montana and Young. The Rams, the year they won it. The Cardinals, the year they made it. The Seahawks, the year they won it. Nameless Jets, undefeated Dolphins, the best Buffalo team that made it. Now, we did make the fan base modders did make the 2007 New England Patriots that went undefeated, but we went with for this the best team that won the Super Bowl, so it's the '04. '78 Steelers, '86 Browns. This is a Super Bowl era, mind you. This is pre Jim Brown's Browns from '64, which is probably '64, '65 were probably his best years. Those teams were probably the best. And this was tough. The Bengals, '81 or '88. I went with '88. I mean, you could argue Kenny Anderson too. Um, 2000 Ravens with their insane defense. Both the '99 Jaguars and Titans. This Colts team, they actually won the Super Bowl. There may be some other Colts teams with Peyton Manning, for argument's sake, that may have been a little bit better, but this is the one that won. The Texans from 2012, their best record. And again, the '69 Chiefs, we talked about them. When it came to the Raiders, they may have only made it to and won one Super Bowl in the '70s, but I think many Raiders fans would argue that the 76 team was probably the best, maybe even, I mean, better than 83. Some people argue 83, but we went with 76. And when it came to the Chargers, this was the only team to make the Super Bowl. For San Diego, they won a AFL title in the 60s. I think the best team was probably '06 personally, but I went with the team that made the Super Bowl, and Elway's Broncos. So we will sim the entire regular season, and it happens really fast. So I'll go to simulate season, and I'm just going to go just regular season for right now. And it's done. So let's take a look at how the teams did. Okay. The 92 Cowboys, who is considered one of the better teams in history, 10-5-1. Now you may sit there and go, wait a minute, they were 13-3 in real life. Yes, they were, but they're also playing all these other Super Bowl champions and great teams. So the fact that the record is maybe not what they actually did, I mean, look at their competition. So they won their division, and I'm a little surprised at the Redskins and Giants. I think they're better teams than those records. Let's see, Favre's Packers did a little better than they did in real life, and the '85 Bears were just above 500. That's a surprise. And you can sim this a boatload of times, and the '85 Bears win a Super Bowl, but they might not even make the playoffs according to this. We'll see. Look at the South. Uh, the Falcons won the division at 8-8. It's a surprise. And you have the Rams and the 49ers battling it out with really good records. And the Rams did a little better in this than they did in real life. And look at the AFC East. Jim Kelly's Bills. Look at that. They edged out the Tom Brady's Patriots for the division title by a half a game. And the undefeated Dolphins went 6-10. Now, a lot of times when I've played games with the Dolphins, they don't always win every game. I mean when they're playing, and not only that, statistically, they were actually better in '73. But I mean, you got to go with history. You got to put the '72 Dolphins in here, and I mean they were built to be loaded anyway. But it's not like you look at Morals or Greasy's numbers and they were out, being able to keep up with like Tom Brady in this division or Joe Namath or Jim Kelly. I mean, they're going to run it down your throat, but the Steelers 11-5, that sounds about right for them. And actually, the Ravens went 7-9. Wow. See, the Colts, Peyton Manning, probably Peyton Manning, all the way through. And look at this, the Chargers, who got destroyed in the Super Bowl, actually won their division. So let's take a look at the playoffs. The wild card. You have the Eagles the year they won the Super Bowl against the Cowboys, and you have a wild card San Francisco team playing Atlanta because they won their division. The Patriots are a wild card, and they're playing in San Diego, and Boomer Esiason's Bengals are playing in Buffalo. So we'll just sim the week and see the results. So Dallas squeaks by Philly. Atlanta is shut out by San Francisco. And look at the Chargers. Where did they come from? They shocked Tom Brady's Patriots. And the funny thing is, I did a sim of the 2010s decade, and it was the best single season of every team from every franchise. And we did this a week or two ago using Pro Strategy Football 2021. And the 2016 Patriots won the decade. They ended up playing, actually Drew Brees' Saints that just missed the Super Bowl in 2018 and won. So if you could sit here and sim this, and the Patriots won the whole thing. I actually saw a Super Bowl where the Patriots playing this game. I actually got the Patriots against the 49ers, Joe Montana against Tom Brady once, and Joe Montana and the 49ers squeaked out a win. So sometimes you get great teams like this that just slip. If I sim this again, Patriots could absolutely win the whole thing. This is just for fun. And the Bengals upset, I guess you would call it upset, Buffalo. So let's go to the current week. So now you're looking at Aikman's Cowboys against Brett Favre's Packers. Back to the division here. In two cases, you got the 49ers playing the Rams, and the Bengals playing the Steelers. And let's see what the Chargers can do against Peyton Manning. I'm still picking Peyton Manning, but let's see what happens. We'll sim the week. And let's see. Green Bay, Brett Favre pulls out a win against Troy Aikman's Cowboys. And the Rams beat the 49ers. Kurt Warner. Pittsburgh wins by a touchdown against Cincinnati. And it was a fight, but Peyton Manning's Colts beat the Chargers. So let's go to the current week, and this is the conference championship. So the Super Bowl is going to be either Green Bay with Brett Favre or the St. Louis Rams with Kurt Warner against either Peyton Manning and the Colts or Terry Bradshaw and the Steelers. So let's sim the week and see what happens. And we have the Rams winning by a field goal in the NFC Championship over the Packers. And we have Peyton Manning and the Colts beating the Steelers. So the Super Bowl, all-time quote-unquote Super Bowl, and we're going to have a quarterback duel in the simulation of Kurt Warner and Peyton Manning. So we're going to watch this. And let's do, if you go to Analyze Game, it will tell you, you can sim it 100 or 1,000 times. It will tell you, after simming it, who wins the majority of the time. And according to this, wow, the Rams win. If I do it 100 times, the Rams win 64% of the time. I'm going to do 1,000 times, see if I get a different number. And it's running. And in this case, it's roughly 60-40 of the Rams winning. But hey, you know what? There have been Super Bowls where, speaking of a Manning, you had Eli Manning, who was a huge underdog against Tom Brady, and they pulled out a victory. So anything can happen. So let's actually watch the game. We're going to watch the whole thing, and I'm just going to have it immediately go to the next play. And we will watch live. So the 14-2 Rams and the 11-5 Colts. It's Peyton Manning against Kurt Warner. Eight-yard pass by Warner. Incomplete. Warner to fall for no gain. So the Rams have to punt. No return. We have offsides on a punt. Wow, that's a rarity. Here comes Peyton Manning. 13-yard pass to Reggie Wayne. Now the audio you hear is an audio mod. It's not a mod. It's not the sound of the game. More of these teams or the logos or the helmets or the field, except for the Pro Strategy football in the middle that comes with the game. But this is the Super Bowl. So one end zone is going to say Rams and one end zone is going to say Colts. See what the penalty is. And the Rams are offsides. Colts decline. Manning. Intercepted by the So the Rams now have the ball. And looks like Kurt Warner has to run for his life. And he gets a 9-yard gain. Not surprising coming from Kurt Warner. And now it's starting to rain outside. I'm going to have to take the laptop inside. So bear with me as I go inside. Comedy will ensue. Excuse me, kids. I'm going to go upstairs, okay? All right. I don't know if you can see me or not. Sorry about this. I'm coming upstairs because of the rain. Okay. I don't know how goofy this looks. Let's find out. Sorry about this, folks, but Mother Nature calls. Not that way. And it's a handoff. Falk gets 2. And Warner completes the pass to Isaac Bruce. All right. Hand off to Falk, gets 3. 8:40 in the first quarter. Incomplete pass. And then for Isaac Bruce. Warner, incomplete, almost picked off. And looks like they're going to try a field goal. And the kick looks good. And it is. So we have, with 8:29 the first quarter, it's the Rams 3 and the Colts nothing. And here's the kickoff. Oh, big return. So the Colts started on that 38. Manning throws incomplete. Trying to hit Reggie Wayne. 2nd and 10, Manning, and he is sacked. It's now 3rd and 17. Manning. Was that picked off? No, it was complete to Harrison for 9 yards. So the Colts are stuck with having to punt. It's a short punt, but not fielded for very much. Warner completes a short pass to Williams, but there's a penalty. And it's offensive pass interference. You don't see that very often. Warner dumps it off. I'm assuming it's Falk, who gets a big gain. He does hit Falk for 16. Quick pass to Bruce for 5 yards, but we're looking. No, it's first down. Warner to Bruce for 7. 2nd down and 3. 4:20 left in the first. Warner to throw again. Uh-oh. And a incomplete pass to Isaac Bruce for 23 yards. Rams are marching down the field. Hand off to Falk, and he loses 4. Hand off again, up the middle. And Falk gains 7. Warner back. Throws incomplete. Trying to hit Hakeem, so it is 4th and 7, and the Rams will try a field goal. And it looks good, and it is. So 2:23 left in the first quarter. It's 6-0 St. Louis here in the Super Bowl. And the Colts are going to bring it out. Oh, good return. Made it to the 31-yard line. 1st and 10 for Peyton Manning. And he throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for Marvin Harrison. 2nd and 10. It's a hand off to Adai, who gets 4. Manning, back to throw, incomplete. He's trying to hit a die. No luck. So now it's 4th and 6 on their own 35. Looks like the Colts will have to punt. Down 6-0. And here's the Rams on the return. They'll start their own 27. Warner, handoff. Falk gets 3 yards, but there's a penalty. Well, the Rams are shooting themselves in the foot. They have a lot of penalties. They were offsides. So it's 1st and 15. Warner to throw, dump off pass. And Falk gets 21 yards. Falk had 1,000 yards on the ground and 1,000 yards in the air. One of a handful of players to do that. In the 1999 season, he did this. And Warner is sacked by Mathis. So here we are at the end of the first quarter. Let's look at the results at this point. You've got the Rams rushing 6 times for 22 yards. The Colts only rushed 1 for 4. Passing yards, 90 for the Rams and only 44 for Peyton Manning. Each quarterback has been sacked once. Kurt Warner's throwing 67%, while Peyton Manning's only throwing 43. In time of possession, this is huge. I mean, the Colts have hardly had the ball. Let's see how the Rams are doing individually. Warner's 8 for 12 for 90 yards. And Falk is 5 rushes for 13 yards. Isaac Bruce in the first quarter alone has 5 catches for 53 yards. Marshall Falk has 3 for 37. And this is total offense. McLean has an interception. And let's see how the Colts are statistically. Let me get through this. Passing, Manning's only 3 of 7 for 44 yards and an interception. He's been sacked. So Manning's had all kinds of problems in the first quarter. Let's see. Adai, 1 rush for 4 yards. It's not bad, but they only rushed it once. Clark, Wayne, and Harrison each have a catch. So that's basically the Colts offense, which is getting kind of shut down, although Mathis does have a sack of Warner to keep them alive in this. But it's 6-0 Rams. Warner. Oh, he hits Torrey Holt for 14 yards. So now we have a 3rd and 4 for the Rams. This is the beginning of the second quarter. And it's a handoff. This is close. Marshall Falk is 3 yards. It's 4th and 1. 14:21 left in the second. So let's see. I'm assuming that the Rams are going to play it safe and punt and not going to try to. No, Warner. Wow. It was a direct snap to Falk. It looked like it was a punt, but it was a fake. They did try to fake everything, but the Colts were all over it and stopped it from happening. So the Colts are going to get the ball with great field position and potentially a change in the momentum here. That was a gutsy call by the Rams. 1st and 10 for the Colts. Manning again is incomplete, having troubles. And there's a completion. This might be a good snap. The Rams defense has been all over the Colts. Manning. Ooh, I thought it was going to get picked off for a second. Incomplete. He was trying to hit Stokely, but I thought it was going to get picked off. And here's a handoff. I'm assuming it's a guy. 15 yards on the run. 12:50 left the second. 6-0 Rams. Manning. Complete. 10 yards and just gets the first down. This could help change the tide for the Colts if they're able to get in the end zone. 1st and 10 on the Ram 11-yard line. It's a pass. It's complete. Harrison gets 5. 2nd and 5 for the Colts. Pressure's on, and Manning is sacked by Carter. 3rd and 11. Manning throws incomplete in the end zone. But there's a penalty. And it's illegal procedure on the Colts. Both offenses have been shooting themselves in the foot here. So the Colts are going to try to field goal. And Vinatieri is good. So with 9:44 left in the second quarter, it's St. Louis 6, Indianapolis 3. And here's the kickoff. And a good return by the Rams. So it's 1st and 10 on their own 32. It's a handoff, and Falk gets 2 yards. 2nd and 8 on their own 34. Warner back to throw. Incomplete. Intended for Torrey Holt. 3rd and 8. Warner back, throws, complete, and he'll get the first down. Hits Torrey Holt for 11 yards. 7:43 left in the second quarter. Warner under pressure, throws complete. Uh-oh, we might have a touchdown here. And we do. And he hits Marshall Faulk for 55 yards. Rams line up for the extra point. And it's good. So 7:31 left in the second quarter. It's St. Louis 13, Indianapolis 3 in the Super Bowl. So here's the kickoff. The Colts take it out. And it's taken at the 6. So it'll be return to the 31. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Peyton Manning on his own 31. Manning is back. Throws. Incomplete. He's trying to hit Reggie Wayne. 2nd and 10. We have a dead ball penalty. And it's encroachment against the Rams. The Colts will take the penalty, so now it's 2nd and 5. Manning is back, dump off pass. And Addae gets 4 yards. He's just short of the first down, so it's 3rd and 1 on their own 40. Manning's going to roll out, throws, incomplete. Trying to hit Marvin Harrison. So you got to figure the Colts will punt, but then again, we thought that with the Rams, and the Rams tried a fake punt. So let's see what the Colts do, and they do punt it, down 13-3 with 5:58 left in the half. Here come the Rams, and the Rams will start on their own 23. And it's a pitch to Falk, who gets, actually it was to Holcomb, the fullback, who gets 5 yards. Warner's back, throws, complete, first down. Completes his tight end Williams for 7 yards. 1st and 10 on their own 35. Warner, it's a pitch out, and it's a big gain. About 25 yards. Wow. 1st and 10 on the Colts 40. Warner back, throws. It's complete. Running down the sideline, we might have another touchdown, and we do. He hits Torrey Holt for 40 yards. You talk about an offense. Greatest show on turf is just rolling right now. So here's the extra point attempt. Ooh, almost blocked, but it looks good. And it is. So 3:48 left in the first half. It's St. Louis 20, Indianapolis 3. The Rams to kick off. Uh-oh, a big kick return. But there's a penalty. Illegal use of hands on the Colts. So the Colts will start on their own 7-yard line. Manning, handoff. And Addae gets 4. 2nd and 6, 2:34 left in the half. Manning, dump off pass, not much there. No gain by Addae. 3rd and 6.
2-minute warning.
And we hit the 2-minute warning. I'll skip the statistics for now. We'll look at it at the half. And it's 3rd and 6. Manning throws. Incomplete. Trying to hit Harrison. Now they've got to punt. They're deep. They're too deep in their end zone not to. They can't risk it. So here's the punt. And it's a good punt. And the Rams will start on their own 45. 1:56 left in the half. St. Louis 20, Indianapolis 3. And it's a pitch out. and Marshall Faulk gets 6. And another handoff. Rams are being safe. Holton gets 6 yards and goes out of bounds to kill the clock. 1st and 10 on the Colts 43. It's a dump-off pass by Warner to Cole for 10 yards, but there's a penalty. And it's against the Rams for holding. So this is coming back. 1st and 20 now. Warner back, throws, incomplete. 2nd and 20. Warner back, another pass. It's complete. Williams makes it for 14 yards. And it'll be 3rd down and 6 on the Colts 39. Rams to pass. It's a 1st down and more. 1:06 left in the half. 20-3 Rams. Warner back, throw, complete. And Hakeem gets 7 yards, but there's a penalty. And it's against the Colts, and the Rams actually accept. They're going to have the ball 1st and 5 on the 29. Warner throws, incomplete. 49 seconds left in the half. Warner, it's a handoff up the middle. But the Colts were pretty much all over that. Faulk only gained 2. 2nd and 5. Excuse me, it's 3rd and 3. Warner throws. It's complete, and it's a touchdown. Ricky Proehl. Wow. This is a blowout. Here's the extra point. And it's good. So with 39 seconds left in the half, it's Rams right now destroying the Colts 27-3. I wonder why that happened. That's a bug. Maybe after this play it'll go up to 20. Or did he miss the extra point? Did I miss that? I can't do a replay of that, can I? It's a kickoff. I must have was not paying attention, or there's a bug. Anyway, here's a handoff. Adai, 2-yard gain.
Hut.
26 seconds left in the half. Manning throws. Incomplete. Manning throws. Complete. To about midfield. With 18 seconds left on the clock. Colts call timeout. Hopefully they're just going to try to get in the field goal range and get something on the board. Manning throws, and it's intercepted by Wild. So it looks like the Rams will just take a knee here to end the half. Oh no, they're going to throw the ball. Warner is going to heave it. It was caught. Wow. You talk about the Rams trying to stick it to the Colts, but is there any time left? He did get out of bounds. So are the Colts going to kick a field goal and just pad their lead? No. Time expired. So let's take a look at the statistics here. Go back to halftime statistics. Kurt Warner, 17-24 for 313 yards. That's the first half. 3 touchdowns, was sacked once. And Peyton Manning was 9 of 21 for 43%, 81 yards and 2 picks, and he was sacked twice. They are just getting to Peyton Manning left and right. Let's take a look at rushing. Faulk, 10 rushes for 51 yards. And for the Colts, Adai has only rushed 4 times, but for 23 yards. All right, let's look at receiving. We'll look at the Colts receiving. Harrison has 3 catches. Clark has 2. Adai has 2. Wayne and Stokely each have 1. Not too many yards for them. And then you look at the Rams. You got Isaac Bruce with 5 catches. Torrey Holt, 4 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. Marshall Faulk, 4 catches, 92 yards and a touchdown. Ricky Proehl, his only catch is a touchdown. Wow. The Rams are just all over it. Let's take a look at defense. Carter has a sack. Clemens has a sack for the Rams. And the 2 picks are from Lyle McLeon. And for the Colts, Mathis has a sack. And that's it for the hardcore information about their defense. Vinatieri. And I want to see. Oh, he made 3 field goals. I thought they had more. I thought they had a whole bunch of touchdowns. That's where I was off with the 27 instead of 28. So I'm mistaken. They have 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. So, okay. Or 2 field goals, pardon me. 2 field goals and 3 touchdowns. So that's why there was no missed extra point. I thought they all had all touchdowns because the Rams have been doing nothing but scoring. Okay, so here we go for the start the second half, and this is a blowout, 27-3. Let's see if Peyton Manning can come back. Wow, that's really deep in the end zone. So Peyton Manning will start on his own 25. We're using modern day rules. Manning throws. It's complete. And Harrison runs out of bounds, gains 14 yards. And it's a handoff that gets stuffed, a 4-yard loss. So it's 2nd and 14. Manning. Incomplete. Manning throws. Complete. Stoker for 16 yards. Manning, incomplete. 2nd and 10. He was trying to hit Harrison, so it'll be 2nd and 10 on the Rams 49. Manning is back, throws, incomplete. And Manning's going to have to take off. He's not exactly known for being a fantastic runner, but he might have gotten the first. Wow. Scrambled for 10 yards, and he did get the first. Manning is back, throws, incomplete. Tried to hit Stokely. It's 2nd and 10 on the Rams 39. Manning. Complete for 8 yards, out of bounds, 3rd and 2 on the Rams 31. And it's a draw play. The Rams will get the first down, a dive for 5. Manning again, he has to run for his life. He's able to throw. It's complete for a little pass of 6 yards to Reggie Wayne. So 2nd and 4. Manning trying to get his team back in the game. Incomplete in the end zone. 3rd and 4. Manning under pressure. It's a dump-off pass. It's not enough for the Colts. Oh, and the guy fumbles the ball away. But the Colts keep the ball. The Colts recover. It's 4th and 2. Now, do the Colts kick a field goal, or do they try to get in the end zone? There's 11:56 on the clock in the 3rd, but they're losing by 24 points. Let's see what they do. Nope, they're going to kick the field goal. The kick is up. That is good. So the score now with 11:34 left in the 3rd, it's the Rams 27 and the Colts 6. And here's the kickoff. And the Rams will return the kick. He's at the 30. Makes it, the 36 or 37. There's a penalty. Wow. A personal foul by the Colts, and it'll be being forced after the play. So the Rams are going to get the ball on the Colts' 49-yard line to start. That's not good if you're a Colts fan. Warner throws. It's complete. Wow. Ricky Falk for 31 yards. 1st and 10 on the 18. And Falk gets 2. And there's pressure. It's a pitch. I'm assuming it's Marshall Falk. And Holcomb for 8 yards. 1st and goal for the Rams. Falk gets 1 yard. So it's 2nd and goal on the Indianapolis 7. Warner throws. Incomplete. He's trying to hit Isaac Bruce. third and goal on the 7. Warner, it's a handoff. Falk gets 4. It's not enough. It's going to be 4th and goal. Now, do the Rams try to punch it in, or are they going to kick a field goal to pad their lead? And they're going to kick the field goal. This is an old school extra point. And it's good. So with 8:11 left in third, it's St. Louis 30, Indianapolis 6. Deep in his end zone, it's a touchback. 1st and 10 on their own 25. Manning, complete. He hits Reggie Wayne, who goes out of bounds. It's now 2nd and 3 on their own 32. Manning, incomplete. 3rd and 3. Manning is sacked by Fletcher. So the Colts will have to punt. And here come the Rams. They will start on their own 38. 1st and 10. Warner back, throws. And it's complete to Isaac Bruce, but there's a penalty. The Rams have an illegal block. So now it's 1st and 25 on their own 23. Warner, handoff. Falk gets 5. Warner back to throw. Complete. And he hits Falk for 7. So it is now 3rd and 13 on their own 35. Warner under pressure, throws, complete, and they get the first down. Wow. 1st and 10 on the Colt 49. Warner back to throw, complete. He hits Isaac Bruce for 6-yard gain. Warner again. 6-yard gain again to Bruce. 1st and 10 on the Colts 37. Warner hands off, and Falk gets 3 yards. It's 2nd and 7. 3:02 left in the third. Warner back to throw, and he dumps it off. And Falk gets 6 yards out of bounds. It's 3rd and 1 on the Colts 34. Warner back, throws, complete. Tight end Williams for 6 yards, and now it's 1st and 10 on the Colts 22. Warner under pressure, and he is sacked by Mathis for a 7-yard loss. So this is 2nd and 17 on the Colts 29. Warner back, throws, incomplete. He's trying to hit Brackett. It's 3rd and 17 on the 29. Warner throws, and it's complete to Isaac Bruce for 20 yards. So it's going to be 1st and goal for the Rams on the Colts 9. Warner throws, and it's intercepted by the Colts. Boy, did they need that. They've got to get in the end zone. They've got to get in the end zone on this drive. 1st and 10 on their own 5. Manning throws, complete. Hits Wayne for 6-yard gain, out of bounds. 2nd and 4 on their own 11. Manning throws, complete. Gets the first down. 1st and 10 on their own 16. Manning. Well, that's the end of the third. Let's take a look at how each of these teams did so far. Kurt Warner's got 411 yards, and we're 3 quarters in. That's insane. He's going to have a 500-yard day if he's passing like this. Manning only 145 yards passing. He's under 50%. He's got 2 picks and has been sacked. I think he's been sacked twice. Actually been sacked 3 times, but then again, so is Warner. Rushing, the Rams have 94-34 by the Colts. The Colts have got to get something in. Time of possession is also a big thing. The Rams have had the ball 10 minutes more than the Colts. So let's take a look at stats for third quarter stats coming in. Warner is 25 of 35 for 411 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick, and he's been sacked twice. And Peyton Manning, 17 of 35, 145 yards and 2 picks, and he's been sacked 3 times. Let's see how we are rushing. Adai, 6 rushes for 24 yards, while Marshall Faulk, 15 rushes for 66 yards. Receiving. Wow. Everybody on the Rams is having a good day. Everybody's caught something. Holtz got the most yards, 131 and a touchdown. Isaac Bruce has the most receptions, 8, but he hasn't got in the end zone yet. See how the Colts are with receiving. Harrison, believable. He's going to be the leader. He and Reggie Wayne each have 5 catches, but not a whole lot to show for it. Let's take a look at defense. Colts defense. You've got Mathis, who's got 2 sacks. He's holding his own, and David had that pick recently. The Colts, Carter, Fletcher, and Clemens all have sacked Peyton Manning, and McLean has his pick, as does Lyle. So let's go back to the game. Here we're in the 4th quarter. Ooh, a lot of pressure on Manning, but he's able to get the pass off. It's a 5-yard completion to a die. It's 2nd and 5. And we are just starting the 4th quarter, so the Colts have got to score. Wow, they've got to come back like crazy. Manning looks, throws, complete. Now it's a handoff. A die gets hit at the line for no gain. It's 2nd and 10 on their own 29. This drive has come along. It's just very slow. Now we have a complete pass and a good game. Manning throws, incomplete. So it'll be 2nd and 10 on the St. Louis 42. 12:23 left in the game in regulation. Manning back. He throws. It's complete. Manning back. Under pressure. He's running for it. He looks like he gets out of bounds. He does to stop the clock. He gets 5. It's now 2nd and 5 on the Rams 27. Manning back under pressure. He's running. He throws. And it's complete to Stokely for an 8-yard gain. So it's 1st and 10 on the Rams 19. It's a reverse, a little trick play. Harrison gets 11 yards out. Now it's 1st and goal in the St. Louis 8. Manning throws, and we have a touchdown finally for the Colts, hitting Stokely. So here comes the extra point. Oh, they're going for 2. Manning, complete. He gets the 2-point conversion to Marvin Harrison. Wow. Gutsy call. So with 9:49 left in regulation, the score is now St. Louis 30 and Indianapolis 14. Will they do an onside kick? No, they're going to kick deep. 9:49 left in regulation. The Colts have to score 3 times. It's a good return by the Rams. So let's see what the Rams do. 1st and 10 on their own 35. And it's a handoff. And a gain by Holcomb, the fullback, for 3 yards. 2nd and 7. And it's another run. Marshall Faulk, 5-yard gain. It looks like the Rams may just be trying to eat up the clock, but now it's 3rd and 2 on their own 38. This is going to be an interesting call. Let's see what happens here. 3rd and 2. It's a run. Oh, and the Colts stuff Marshall Faulk for a 3-yard loss. 4th and 5. So the Rams will have to punt. Rams winning 30-14, 7:21 left in regulation. And the Colts will start on their own 23. 1st and 10 for Peyton Manning. 7:15 left in regulation. It's a trick handoff. It's a pitch. And the guy gets 11 yards out of bounds. Stops the clock. 1st and 10 on their own 34. Manning in shotgun. Throws. Oh, that might have been picked off. Yes, picked off. Oh, wow. That's a crusher right there. So here come the Rams. It's a run. And Holcomb only gets 3. So it's 2nd down for the Rams. 2nd and 7 on the Colts 39. And Faulk gets 2. Big 3rd down here. 3rd and 5 on the Colts 37. The Rams, they get hit at the line. It's 4th and 5 on the 37. Do they punt Do they try to kick a field goal to maybe make this game out of reach? They're going to punt. They get a coffin corner, and they do. Wow. So the Colts are stuck deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 on their own 7. And it's a trick play. It's an end around. And Clark gets 6 yards, goes out of bounds. So there's 4:37 in regulation. Colts are down 30-14. And Manning completely passed the lane. He runs out of bounds to stop the clock. 4:31 left in regulation. Colts have got to get in the end zone here, and Manning has to scramble for 4 yards. 2nd and 6. Manning, incomplete. He was trying to hit Harrison, couldn't do it. 3rd and 6. Manning, complete. And Clark gets out of bounds. It's only a 2-yard game. 4th and 4. You're down 30-14 in the Super Bowl. You have to go for it. Nope, they're going to punt. Wow, I'm surprised. Not completely unheard of, but you got to get 3 touchdowns. Your defense has been stopping the Rams recently. Let's see what happens. It's a run. Uh-oh. Marshall Faulk busts through the – it was Holcomb, actually, busting down the 12-yard game for the penalty. And the Colts are offside, so the Rams will decline. The Rams are being safe. They're just running the ball. Faulk gets 8. It's 2nd down and 2. And it's a game by Faulk 4 yards. So 1st and 10. Rams on their own 45, winning 30-14. It's a handoff. And Holcomb gets 4. They were going there. I guess they're resting Faulk a little bit and going with their fullback Holcomb. 2nd and 6. It's another handoff. Faulk gets 3. The Rams are just trying to eat up the clock on the ground here, and who can blame them? They're winning 30-14. 2:26 in regulation. It's a handoff up the middle, and Faulk is hit at the line. It's 4th down. The Rams will have to punt.
2-minute warning.
And at the 2-minute warning, it's still 30-14 Rams. They're going to have to punt. So I'm going to have to – I just got a warning that my laptop battery is dying. So everyone hold on to your horses here. I'm going to run and get my brick to plug in the laptop. So I'll be with you momentarily. And I am back and plugged in. So if you don't want to watch this YouTube channel for football, you can watch it for all the comedy of errors that happen here. So, I mean, I was outside, then it started to rain, so I had to come inside, and now my battery's dying, so I had to plug in. I just make this up as I go along anyway. All right, so let's go back to the game. The Rams have to punt. And the Colts take it to about their 5. So Peyton Manning's got to score 3 times in 2 minutes. 1st and 10 on their own 5. Manning throws to Clark for 5 yards. 2nd and 5. They use a timeout. They have 1 left. Manning, complete. 7 yards. Looks like they'll take their last timeout. No, they don't. The clock's still running. And Manning had to run for his life and got sacked out of bounds. It kills the clock. 1:09 left in regulation. This looks like it's just a formality in this Super Bowl. take it 21 yards. Manning runs for his life, and he's hit out of bounds. 43 seconds in regulation. This is just a formality. And looks like we have an interception. We do. Jenkins picks up the ball, but there's a penalty, and it's offsides against the Rams, so that's coming back. Not that this is really going to matter. Manning throws. Incomplete. So here we are, 3rd and 5 with 30 seconds left. Manning running for his life. And he's sacked for a 6-yard loss. 4th and 11. And they're going to have to go for it. And he throws. Incomplete. So now Kurt Warner just needs to come out in the field, take a knee or two, and this is over. There's one knee. Colts call all their timeouts, and time expires, and that's the Super Bowl. So the 1999 St. Louis Rams defeat the 2006 Indianapolis Colts 30-14 in the Super Bowl, and this was a sim of great teams from every franchise from 1966 to 2017. And let's take a look at the stats. Passing yards, 411 by Kurt Warner to the 266 by Manning. And rushing, 131 for the Rams, 71 for the Colts. Now, Manning did improve his numbers. He got picked off 3 times, but he did improve his numbers. He completed 56% of his passes, but Kurt Warner was almost 72. He was all over the place. Each quarterback got sacked, but Manning got sacked 5 times compared to Kurt Warner getting sacked 3. And time of possession, well, the Colts improved their deficit, but the Rams still had it 10 more minutes. Let's take a look at offense. Passing. Kurt Warner was 25 of 35 for 411 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Believable. Manning had all kinds of problems, but showed he could come back in the second half. He went 29 of 52, 56% completion rate, a touchdown, but he got picked off 3 times and was sacked 3 times. He was under duress all day. Rushing, Adai had 8 rushes for 35 yards. They didn't use him much. Falk, 23 rushes, 85 yards. That's believable. Now here's where it's probably going to be insane with receiving. Look at all these receivers for the Ready Show on Turf. Isaac Bruce, Marshall Falk, Torrey Holt, Williams, Prohl, Holcomb. I mean, these guys, you had 2 receivers for 1,000 yards. One of them was Marshall Falk for 100 yards, pardon me. One of them was Marshall Falk and one was Torrey Holt. Now Marshall Falk he had 105 on the in the air, and he had 105 in the air, and he had 85 on the ground. So if you go to total offense, Marshall Falk had 190 yards total offense and a touchdown. Now this season, Marshall Falk had 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard receiving. And he's like, Roger Craig was the first player to do it, and that was in 85. So that kind of thing happened in real life, and this game just reflected it. I mean, Marshall Falk was roughly statistically what he was in real life. But let's look at the Colts' total offense. Marvin Harrison was all over the map with catches, but he was 11 catches for 77 yards. So he wasn't averaging 10 yards a catch. I mean, he was getting stuffed. He would catch the ball, but then the Rams were all over him. So that's total offense. Sorry, that's not when we went receiving. Marvin Harrison had 7 catches for 77 yards. So he averaged 11, so I take that back. I was incorrect. I was looking at total offense. That was how many he actually rushed for on a trick play. So Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne both had 7 receptions. Stokely had 6. Clark had 4. I mean, where this has a deficit is the number of yards they had, but the Ram defense was just all over the place. Let's see how they did on defense. The Colts, Brackett had 10 tackles, Mathis had 2 sacks, and David had a pick. The Rams, their defense was great. I mean, look at all the different players who had sacks: Carter, Farr, Fletcher, Clemens had 2, and you had 3 interceptions: Lyle Jenkins and McLean. I mean, their defense was just gave Peyton Manning problems the whole game. I mean, Peyton Manning came back a little bit in the second half, but it was just devastating for him. So now we go back and let's see achievements. Look at the achievements for between these two teams going into this game. The Colts had scored a touchdown in 19 straight games. So basically, they had scored a touchdown every game. And Peyton Manning threw a touchdown in 7 straight games. The Rams, they also scored 19 straight game touchdown. Defense caused a turnover in 5 straight games. Warner had it's the Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt show. Wow. The greatest show on turf. They were just all over the place. Now, let's take a look at league leaders. Kurt Warner, actually from the Cardinals, was the league leader in passing. He had John Elway, Joe Montana. You had Peyton Manning from the Colts. Bernie Kosar was up there. Jim Kelly, Drew Brees, Matt Shaw, Mark Rippon. And remember, the Redskins had that really bad record, were they 4-12 or something? But Rippon was one of the passing leaders. Stabler, Kramer from the Lions. I'm not criticizing, but that's kind of a surprise. And this has to do with yards. We're keying off of yards. Stabler, Dawson, that's believable. Let's see who had the best rating, quarterback rating. Kurt Warner from the Rams. And Joe Montana right after him. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Okay. Aikman, Favre, Kelly. I mean, these are believable. These are absolutely believable. Rushing. Wow. Let's go with, that's the number of rush. Let's go with yards. Emmitt Smith was the rushing leader. And Atlanta's Anderson, he actually had a really good year that year too. Eddie George, Thurman Thomas, Marshall Faulk. I mean, these are all believable. You had Walter Payton, who, I mean, that was towards the end of his career, but he still had respectable numbers. Let's see, receiving. Who's our top receiver? Terrell Davis from. Wow, that's insane. Look at the number of catches he had. More than a receiver. I guess that's an anomaly, if you will. Larry Fitzgerald from the Cardinals makes sense. Reggie Wayne makes sense. Anquan Bolden makes sense. Colston makes sense. Marvin Harrison makes, you could quibble a little bit here and there on some of the numbers. Who had the most yards? Larry Fitzgerald, okay, future Hall of Famer. Total defense. Oh, it's not total offense, I'm sorry. But Emmitt Smith had the most yards. I want to get defense. Well, Mike Singletary had the most tackles in this game, followed by Ray Lewis. Oh, that's all believable. Who had the most sacks? Fletcher from the Rams. That's a surprise. Minnesota Vikings, Marshall. I mean, this is not in the realm of impossibility what we're looking at here. Let's see, kick returners. I was just curious. Okay, now, here's the funny thing. We saw who just won the whole thing, and it was the Rams beat the Colts. You had Kurt Warner's Rams defeating Peyton Manning's Colts. I'm going to start over, and I'm just going to I just official 2019 season. I'm actually going to sim this whole thing. I'm not going to play the Super Bowl. I'm just going to sim the whole thing, and let's just see what kind of difference we have. Um, so let's go to week one. Oops, there should be a sim whole week. Where am I missing that? Simulate season. And I'm just going to sim the whole thing just for laughs. And let's see how the results may differ. All right. Team standings. See, this time the Eagles go 11-5, the Cowboys 7-9, Washington still 4-12. Wow. Um, Still surprised at that. I've seen them win the division pretty well. So things happen. Um, the Vikings from 69 beat the Bears in the division title, and the Packers fall. Saints, Bucks, Rams again, really good. Montana's Niners went 8-8. See, I mean, you can get different results. Again, a half a game. The Patriots are a wild card, a half game back. The Bills. That's funny. Steelers win their division. Look at Jacksonville. They won their division. And Manning's Colts might not even make the playoffs. And look at this 69 Chiefs. They won their division. So let's go into schedule. And here was the Super Bowl, folks. The Rams lost the Super Bowl to Jim Kelly's Bills by 2 points. Look at that. Isn't that wild? Let's go. Let's see who the let's see, wild card. Carson Wentz and the Eagles defeated the 85 Bears in the first round. The Rams beat the Seahawks. The New England Patriots beat the Jaguars. And the Houston Texans shocked the Chiefs. So the division playoffs, yeah, the Eagles and Drew Brees, Saints, and Carson Wentz's team wins that. The Rams beat the Vikings, the 69 Vikings. The Patriots lost by 4 to the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s. The Houston Texans, who actually, it's not just in this game, it's a lot of games if you play these games, these simulation games. The Houston Texans, for some reason, from 2012 are just stacked. They are. I don't know why. I know their offense was statistically great, but they're hard to beat in any simulation. Even though they lost the first round of the playoffs, but they lose to Jim Kelly's Bills. So the respective conference championships were the Rams and the Eagles from a few years ago, and the Steelers and the Bills. Wow. So one of the best teams of all time, the Steelers, gets edged out by Buffalo. The Rams, who just won the whole thing that we summed, beat the Eagles. And then they lose the Super Bowl to Buffalo. So let's do it one more time just for laughs. We'll start over. And we'll just do that. And sim season. And I'm going to sim the whole thing. And let's see who won the whole thing. Wow, look at this time. It's the Eagles from a few years ago beating the Kansas City Chiefs 22-20. See how the standings change. Well, Washington went down instead of. I don't get it. I'm surprised. But here are different results. And this time, San Francisco wins their division against the Rams, who are a wild card. Buffalo and New England, they end up with the same record, but Buffalo wins a division. Wow. Steelers win their division, and the Colts go 500 and they win their division. And look at the Broncos. I think the Broncos had the best record in the league. Let's see. They were 14-2. San Francisco 12-4. Tampa 5-1. Yeah, the Broncos had the best regular season record. Oops, that was a wild card round. Okay, so you had the Bucks beating the 86 Giants. The Vikings beat the Rams, who won the Super Bowl that we just watched. And okay, this is believable. Peyton Manning's Colts beat Tom Brady's Patriots by a point. I bet that was an epic game. And Kansas City destroys Buffalo. And then the 49ers, Joe Montana, they edge out the Vikings. The Eagles beat the Bucks the year they won the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh is able to get by the Colts. And Denver is shocked by Kansas City. Denver had the best record in the league. So we go to the respective conference championships, and wow, the Eagles squeak by the 49ers in San Francisco. And the Steelers host the title game in the AFC, and they lose to the Chiefs. Look at that. We could have had a 49ers Steelers Super Bowl, the best team of the 70s versus the best team of the 80s. But both of them lost their conference championships. And in this simulation, you had the Eagles beating the Chiefs. So this is a lot of fun to just kind of toy around with. But these mods are free for Pro Strategy Football 2020. There's a whole slew of mods out there. Decades, best team from each decade, single season. But I just wanted to give this a whirl and toy around with it, and I hope you enjoy it. So thanks for tuning in.